It's so much easier, because here's the thing, what you guys got to understand, back in the day, chiropractic schools were ran by chiropractors. Novel. Today, there's a school that on the board is a pharmacist, a surgeon, a medical doctor, and a physical therapist on the board of a university. They don't even call it chiropractic school anymore. It's one of the busiest ones in the freaking country. Go figure. There's another school that the president is a medical doctor. Yeah. So here's the thing. This is why, and the principles are being removed and taken away from us. There are schools that won't even allow the green books. There are schools in the United States that you can't say innate or subluxation. If you say them, you get kicked out of school because they don't. It takes too much work. Like Lona said, it is so hard for our human brains to wrap around. See, for most people, it's hard for everybody to understand universal intelligence that expressing through living tissue is innate. It's hard for them to wrap their mind around that. Man, it is the easiest thing for me. I'm just not that smart. Thank goodness. I am not bright at all. I am not the sharpest knife. In school, C for chiropractor. That's what it means, right? I had a few of them, D for doctor. I was good with that, whatever, right? I didn't care. I did not, I was voted most likely to go to jail in my school, right? But here's what I understood. Here's what I understood. When you look around and you just like step back and you go, wait a minute, there's a universal intelligence. And if you deny that, you're either blind or just freaking dumb. I don't know what to tell you. All you have to do is just like take a step back and pay attention to it. You know, BJ wrote volume after volume after volume after volume of green books, and makes you wonder. And you know, if you know, he typed those with 2 fingers, and they had a big scroll. Back then, it wasn't like what we have today. He had this old typewriters, and he just 16 hours a day, 6-7 days a week, he just went crazy about chiropractic. He was just infatuated with this, and he kept writing a green book trying to explain that there's a universal intelligence that expressed through tissue, and it doesn't need any interference, and you'll heal. And no one was getting it, so he wrote another book, and no one was getting it. So he wrote all these books until he wore himself out. I actually got to go to the Palmer Mansion. I've been there 3 times in Davenport, and every time I go, I cry. It's just I'm a big baby anyway, but that's like a holy place to me. And one day I was in there by myself, and the curator, she looked around and she said, "Hey, you want me to show you something?" Yes. And so she got in, she opened up this drawer, and she pulled out one of the original scrolls. Have you guys ever seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? That was me, like holding the Holy Grail, and just like letting BJ speak to me through the, It was the most amazing thing, because I look back at our history and I think about the chiropractors were teaching chiropractic. They were successful, and as they got older, and the body started breaking down, they fell in love with the profession, but they wanted to go give back. And we just don't have that anymore. And here's what I believe. This is why I'm here. This is why the Chiro Priest is speaking to you today. It takes God's warriors to speak the truth, loud, unapologetically, then with focus and many, many, many hours of trained precision, deliver on that truth. See, gang, listen. This technique thing that I teach, I learned from the masters. I had some of the greatest teachers ever. Does anybody know who Mitch Malley is? Raise your hand. Dr. Malley. He was one of my teachers. Dr. Gibson, Dr. Yinny. My brain went crazy. I got all these doctors in my head. I studied with them, and then I practiced, and I worked on it, and I worked on it, and I worked on it, and I developed my technique, and I developed it over, and I fine-tuned it, and I mastered it. I mastered it. Raise your hand if you've taken my adjusting class. Okay, we got several. Okay, when I adjusted your atlas, did something change? Your future, right? And that's what I believe. But here's the thing. I said this at Cal Jam I was speaking at Cal Jam one time. Does anybody know what Cal Jam was? You know, Billy DeMoss. Okay, Dr. Billy is one of my best friends. He's a nut. He's actually batshit crazy. And before he spoke, he had me adjust him on stage with 3,000 people watching, and a band playing AC/DC. and I had to focus on that adjustment, right? And I spoke that weekend right before RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr. He spoke right before me. He's like, seriously? But I said, listen, here's what I see across the country, because I've been doing this for so long. I see chiropractors, what they're doing is they're making these finger paintings, and they're trying to sell them like it's a Rembrandt. Chiropractic is a philosophy, a science, and what's happening to our art, gang? Man, chiropractic is the chiropractic adjustment is your signature, and it defines who you are as a chiropractor. The chiropractic adjustment is a gift from your soul to theirs, and as a gift, it should be the finest example of who you are. Lona showed those videos of the frequencies, and you saw things change. What's the frequency in your heart when you make an adjustment? Who are you when you show up? Probably four of the most important questions you'll ever, or three of the most important questions you'll ever ask yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it? 1988, God laid his hand on my shoulder and said, you are going to be a chiropractor. It wasn't in my mind. It wasn't my plan. I was going into the Navy. I was wanting to do other things. And through a course of events, he laid his hand on my shoulder and said, you're going to be a chiropractor. And I felt more peace at that moment than I'd ever probably felt up to that point, and maybe to this day, when I knew what my new calling was. Now that I wasn't going to be a chiropractor to make money or adjust or see patients. I didn't even know what that meant. He just said, you're going to go do this. Now, all these years later, I'm here in front of you. Now I know what he meant. It takes God's warriors to speak the truth. I'm speaking the truth to you. Physiology and anatomy has not changed. The only thing that's changed in this profession is our limited understanding of innate intelligence and what the adjustment can actually do if it's applied correctly. Say yes! What I want to hear, my people, and we got to say it out loud. Do not apologize for being a chiropractor. Ever. To anyone. If this is a room full of neurosurgeons or orthopedic surgeons or physical therapists or freaking pharmaceutical reps, they're going to hear my message. I don't apologize. Hell no. I've got too many miracles at my hands. You can't take it away from me. You can't take those away from me. I'm going to scream it out loud. I'm not going to apologize. And then I'm going to focus. And every time I make an adjustment, every time, not just sometimes, not just on Monday for the first hour, every single time I lay hands on somebody, my intention is so pure, my focus is so laser, my hands move so fast and it's so accurate that when I adjust that patient, their futures change. Say yes.